welcome to Global Data Lens, where numbers become stories. In this video, we explore one of the most powerful stories ever told by data, the story of human population. From 1950 to 2050, we will watch humanity transform from survival to expansion to an aging planet. And now the story begins. In 1950, the human story stood at a quiet turning point. The world held just 2.5 billion people. For most of history, population had grown slowly, fragile to famine, war, and disease. And then survival itself began to change. Antibiotics spread. Vaccines reached villages. Clean water flowed into cities. For the first time in human history, death was right, treating faster than birth. Children who once would not have lived past 5 now reached adulthood. Life expectancy rose across every continent. Families were still large, but now most children lived. The result was not just growth. It was momentum. By 1960, the world crossed 3 billion. Not because people were having more children, but because, for the first time, most of those children survived. As the years unfolded, food production expanded. The Green Revolution reduced famine. Cities began to rise across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Education spread. Contraception appeared. Quietly, something profound began. Birth rates started to fall. Not everywhere. Not all at once. But enough to signal the beginning of a global demographic transition. And yet the total kept climbing. By 1975, humanity reached 4 billion. Growth was still fast. But now policy entered the story. In 1976, China introduced the one-child policy, the most ambitious fertility intervention in history. Across Europe and Japan, birth rates fell below replacement. For the first time, entire societies began aging before becoming rich. The age structure of the planet was starting to tilt. By the late years, the world became urban at scale. Megacities emerged. Concrete replaced farmland. And urban life quietly changed family size forever. In 1987, the global population crossed 5 billion. Each billion now arrived faster than the one before, not because fertility was rising, but because the large generations born earlier were now reaching adulthood. Momentum carried growth forward even as birth rates declined. By 1998, 6 billion people shared the planet. Borders opened. Economies integrated. Migration became a new demographic force, balancing shrinking workforces in aging countries and offering opportunity to youthful ones. At the same time, life expectancy continued to climb. Longevity, not fertility, was becoming the dominant driver of population change. In 2010, the world passed 7 billion. The planet was no longer just growing. It was aging. Europe, Japan, and later China saw their median ages rise rapidly. The number of elderly began increasing faster than the number of children. Then came a shock. In 2020, a pandemic briefly reversed decades of progress. Mortality spiked. Births were delayed. The world was reminded that demography is shaped not only by trends, but by sudden events. Yet the long arc continued. In 2020, humanity crossed 8 billion. But now the pattern had changed. Almost all net growth was coming from Africa and South Asia. East Asia and Europe were entering population decline. The demographic center of gravity of the world was shifting south. And from here onward, the story moves from history int projection. According to the United Nations, by 2026 and beyond, global fertility is expected to hover near replacement on average, with some regions still growing fast and many already shrinking. By 2030, the world population is projected to reach about 8.6 billion. Growth continues, but more slowly than at any time in the past century. Africa is expected to supply most new workers. China, Europe, and Japan are projected to age rapidly, with shrinking working-age populations. By the mid-years, urbanization is projected to deepen further. 2/3 of humanity will live in cities. Urban lifestyles, education, and economic pressures will continue to suppress fertility. And then a symbolic threshold. By around 2037, UN projections indicate the world will pass 9 billion people. Not in a surge, not in an explosion, but in a gradual, slowing climb. By 2040, the global median age is expected to rise sharply. The number of people over 65 will expand faster than any other age group. Healthcare systems, labor markets, and social contracts will increasingly be shaped by aging rather than youth. Migration is projected to become one of the main stabilizers of population, offsetting decline in some regions and redistributing growth globally. And finally, by mid-century, by 2050, the United Nations projects the world population to reach approximately 9.66 billion people. Growth will be approaching its long-term plateau. For the first time in human history, the dominant demographic question will no longer be how fast are we growing, but instead, how do we sustain civilization with fewer births, longer lives, and an aging planet? From survival to expansion to longevity, the population story is not just about how many we become. It is about how humanity adapts as time itself reshapes our numbers. The next century will not be defined by explosion, but by balance.
Mm-hmm.